This 6-digit code could be the reason why your company isn't getting approved for business credit. It's often referred to as your NAICS code, which stands for the North American Industry Classification System. This code is used to describe the primary activity of a business. But the scary part is, depending on the NAICS code that you choose, your business could be seen as high risk and instantly be denied for any business credit. This means you have to know exactly what to say when a lender asks, what type of business do you have, if you want access to over 6 figures of business funding. So if you want to know what NAICS codes you should be using for your business, make sure you watch this video to the very end, because I'm going to explain exactly what you should tell lenders so you can get the most business credit possible, even if your business is in a high risk industry. Let's get it. As you can see, there are a bunch of different NAICS codes, and if you're a new business owner, figuring out which one is best for you can be a bit confusing. But contrary to belief, there are only a few occasions when you actually need to know your specific NAICS code. Number one being when you file your business taxes, and then number two is when you actually create your business. Some states like New Jersey will ask you for your specific NAICS code when you do your formation process. Now, this may sound crazy, but most of the time when you're going for business credit, lenders aren't actually asking you what your specific NAICS code is. But before we get into that, let's talk about why NAICS codes in general are such a mysterious topic. I remember when I first looked through the list of NAICS codes, I was totally lost and everything just seemed to look the same. But as a business owner, it is important to understand what code your business falls under. It lets the IRS and other entities know what type of business you run. When it comes to business credit, there will be certain industries that are frowned upon by financial institutions because they see them as higher risk businesses. Some high risk industries include credit repair, real estate investing, short-term rentals like cars and houses, as well as anything that includes firearms or drugs. And there are a bunch more, but I would say these are the ones that I get asked about the most. Now, if you do want to get access to the entire list of over 50 high-risk industries, go ahead and download the 6-figure business credit playbook. I just linked it in the description below. So since I've been on my own journey to obtaining funding for my businesses, I've definitely had to fill out a bunch of credit applications from credit card companies and banks. And while doing this, I've realized something very interesting. None of these applications ever ask me what my actual NAICS code is. They would usually just have a box that asks your type of business or business description. Now, this is super important to understand because this shows you that it's not actually about what your NAICS code is. It's more about understanding what type of business you have and what industries banks and credit card companies are less likely to lend to. Now, according to the NAICS Association website, while some organizations may assign a code to you for their internal records, they cannot do so in a universal capacity. This pretty much means when a lender asks you for your business type, it's for their records only. It doesn't mean that every other lender is going to see your business as the same type or code from here on out. When trying to obtain business credit from an institution, these next concepts are what's really going to make the difference, so make sure you pay attention. Number one, you want to avoid using high risk words in your business name. You definitely want to keep it general. What I mean is you don't want to have names like Ralph's Car Rentals or Ralph Real Estate Investing. You don't have to describe what your business is in your business name. A lot of times that's just going to be a red flag for an investor. So instead of using descriptive words in my business name, I would just use more general terms like Ralph's Firm or Ralph's Enterprises. That way I have a larger space to be able to prove what my business description is. Number two, you want to understand your business description thoroughly and be able to explain it to someone when asked. To keep it 100, this is the make or break moment when it comes to your business type. When you're speaking with a representative at the bank or a credit card company, can you tell them your business description and keep it general enough not to get flagged as high risk? Navy Federal Credit Union is the perfect example of this. When I went to get business credit with them, before I even applied for the credit, I had to get a business bank account and go through kind of a phone orientation with a representative. And on this phone conversation, it lasted about an hour. They pretty much just asked me everything about my business and what I did and kind of wanted to get to know me and my business more. So this is the specific part where you need to be able to articulate your business description without getting flagged as high risk. And because I was able to do this, I was able to go ahead and get the business bank account open and then follow up and apply for business funding. Now that we talked about what a NAICS code is and what lenders actually want to know to give you business funding, it's time to answer the question that I get most in the comments and during my one-on-one consultations. And that is, what do I tell lenders if I'm doing business in a high risk industry like car rentals or real estate investing, but still want to get approved for business credit? But every time I see this question, I think it's kind of crazy, because how can a random internet person tell you what type of business you started? And while this may seem strange, there are a lot of people out there who will start a business just to get the business funding instead of actually doing the business.
Like what? What?
But you don't have to lie to banks about your business type just to get business funding, bag chaser. It's definitely not the move, and it could get you caught up further down the line. You should already have a clear understanding of your business and the industry that it operates in before you even form it. This allows you to create a strategy and plan for the hurdles instead of having to backtrack every time you run into an obstacle you could have avoided. But if you're like many other people and have fell victim to this misinformation and may have already started a business that's in a high risk industry, make sure you pay attention closely, because I'm about to give you 5 tips that'll give you a better chance at getting business funding without having to lie to financial institutions. The first tip is to change the name of your LLC. So as I described, if your name has descriptive words that tell exactly what you do in a high risk industry, you definitely want to get rid of that, and you can do so by making an amendment with your Secretary of State to change the name of your LLC to something much more general like we discussed before. This will give you a lot better chance at getting business funding, even if you may operate in a higher risk lane. Number 2 is to focus on a less risky aspect of your business when it comes to your description. This sentence from the NACS Association website says, if your business activities include more than one unique line of business, you may want to use more than one NACS code. So does your business do anything else? For example, if you're in real estate investing, do you also have your real estate license? Are you a real estate agent? Or are you doing the work on the rehab yourself? If this is the case, you may be able to use a different NACS code that may relate to construction or a real estate agent as opposed to real estate investing. And the same thing goes in spaces like car rentals as well. Even though a portion of your business is doing car rentals, do you work on your cars? Are you buying or selling your cars? Any of these things will give you another opportunity to focus on less risky part of your business rather than the short-term rentals. The third tip is that you could use a different LLC to obtain the funding. So if you have another skill set that you can actually build another business around, maybe you do something on the side like website, you do marketing, even like working on cars or doing hair, there are a bunch of other side hustles out there that you could build the LLC around, get the funding for that, and then still use that funding for other businesses. The fourth tip is you could just start a brand new LLC in its entirety. Because you watched this video and you already have all this information, you know exactly what to do to avoid high risk industry. So pretty much starting a new LLC with the end in mind still gives you an advantage to go ahead and get more business funding. The fifth tip may be a hard pill for some to swallow, but it's reality. And that is, you should avoid businesses that are high risk if you don't have any money and need funding to start them. Honestly, this is where a lot of new entrepreneurs crash out and just wind up going into even more debt and putting themselves in a worse position. Even when it comes to businesses that are simple to start, like having a Turo business or Airbnb, there are still things that you need to acquire to run the business efficiently. When it comes to car sharing, you need the car, you need to get things like the GPS tracker, and even in the Airbnb, you got to get the furniture, you actually have to get the place to rent out. So in this case, your first priority should actually be understanding the mindset that you need to be a business owner and start saving your money first, so that you can have a little bit of skin in the game and be able to get some of the resources first without entirely relying on business funding. And that way, when the business funding comes, you already know exactly what to do with it, and all it's going to do is just take your already existing business to the next level. But with that being said, by now, I hope that you realize that no matter where you are in your business credit journey, there is always options for you to maximize your funding potential just by understanding business descriptions and knowing what high risk industries are. And now that you know exactly what to do when it comes to your business type, you can use these strategies to unlock opportunities that'll change your financial life forever. So make sure you watch this next video where I explain the formula I use to do exactly that.